Planning our big year has been quite a challenge for us both. First, we needed to decide what type of big year we were doing. Initially, we were planning to do a full ABA, which encompasses all of the United States and Canada, including Hawaii and Alaska. Another option was the ABA Continental, which leaves Hawaii out of the mix. After lots of discussion, we decided to do a lower 48 state big year, which would cut back on the expensive and time-consuming plane flights. But there is still a lot of ground and a lot of birds to cover, from California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Hey, I sense a song coming on. We read a bunch of books on big years, talked to birding friends, and Googled how to do a big year several hundred times. The birdiest state in the country is California, where 711 species have been identified over the years. Did we begin our big year there or in the very birdy states of Florida, Texas, or Arizona? Nope. We ignored everything we had learned and spent most of January birding at home in Maine. When we finally hit the road on January 28th, we were in about 2,000th place in the country. But we did not panic. We had a strategy, one that we felt confident would work. California would wait until September. Fast forward to September 19th, and our California trip is over, and we are very happy with the results. Welcome to the week 37 update of Ethan and Ingrid's 2024 Big Year. By the 8th day of our California adventure, we had found many of our target birds. On the 8th, we took a ferry out of Ventura to Santa Cruz Island, one of the Channel Islands, and the only place in the world to find the island scrub jay. A close relative of the California scrub jay, the Woodhouse's scrub jay, and the Florida scrub jay. The island scrub jay is a little larger than its mainland cousins. It's also really easy to find, and we saw our first one sitting in a tree over the island outhouses about 5 minutes after we were dropped off at Prisoners Harbor. Unfortunately, the return ferry didn't leave for 6 hours. They must call it Prisoners Harbor because big year birders are basically all-day prisoners on the island. But we had planned for this and had brought a picnic and enjoyed staring at the mainland coast 20 miles away, where a dozen rare birds were out of our reach. To ease our suffering, we were kept entertained by the adorable and endemic island fox, which wanders about with no fear of human visitors. The next day, we were up early heading for San Francisco looking for a rare warbler that had been hanging out at Pine Lake Park for over a month. On our way, we swung through an agricultural area in search of the beautiful yellow-billed magpie. Not sure how popular these birds are with the vineyard owners, but magpies were on fences, trees, and power lines. After working our way through Bay Area traffic, we arrived at Pine Lake Park and made the short walk to the end of the pond where the slate-throated redstart had been seen. A resident of Mexico and South America, this very lost bird was reported on July 29th to great excitement in the birding community. The fact that it was still being seen in the same general area a month and a half later was very fortuitous for us. A small army of birders helped us find the redstart, and we stuck around for quite a while to get better looks and photos. On Friday, we drove north of the city to the legendary birding spot Point Reyes, targeting an early golden-crowned sparrow. A summer resident of Alaska, mid-September is still early to find one in California where they winter. Of course, if we came to California in the winter, like everyone else doing a big year, we would have had no problem whatsoever. And to make matters worse, Point Reyes was fogged in, making it difficult to see anything, including this black bear and her cub. During one brief break in the weather, we came upon this magnificent elk and his harem. We eventually found a couple of golden-crowned sparrows traveling with a mixed flock of bluebirds, song sparrows, and pine siskins. The pea soup fog continued to thicken, and I suggested we drive south to Muir Woods and its famous redwood trees. Ethan had never been there, and we both knew that Muir Woods had a small population of spotted owls, a species that has eluded us in Arizona and in the Pacific Northwest. The redwoods were amazing, and we strolled around the boardwalk under a redwood canopy. The trees blocked so much sunlight that midday appeared like dusk. As we headed back to the parking lot and our rental car, Ethan looked toward the entry gate, and there, sitting unmoving, was the long sought after spotted owl. Unfortunately, it was stuffed and encased in plexiglass. Dead birds don't count. On Monday, we climbed on yet another birding boat, a pelagic out of Monterey, hoping this trip would be half as good as the San Diego pelagic 8 days earlier, where we had added 10 new birds to our year list. And it almost was. We picked up 4 new birds, highlighted by bullers and flesh-footed shearwaters. While not a new bird, the sooty shearwaters, a bird we see only sporadically on the East Coast, were migrating. The counters on board our boat reported 9,950 sooty shearwaters.
Note, they counted 9,950. Not 10,000, but they counted 9,950 birds.
We also saw 28 black-footed albatross. It was an incredible day on the water. Our final bird in California was the white wagtail that had eluded us earlier in the trip. See our week 35 update. It was cavorting in the awe-inspiring Los Angeles River. We spotted it an hour before our rental car turned into a pumpkin, just in the nick of time. Then, after a delightful red-eye to Boston, we stopped on a beach in Massachusetts to tick off this juvenile common-ringed plover, which looks almost identical to the 400-plus semi-palmated plovers all over the beach. It only took us 3 hours and 5 miles to find it. Exhausted and finally home in Maine, our belated California trip had added 46 new birds to our year list. Maybe we should have gone earlier in the year, but we're pretty happy with our progress so far. 686 birds, within striking distance of 700 if we are lucky. Very lucky.
Thanks for watching this weekly recap of Ethan and Ingrid's 2024 Big Year. Remember to visit our blog at bigyearbirding.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button. And if you want more of this silliness, we also have a Facebook and Instagram page. Happy birding!